Hey everyone, it's Shelby here. Welcome back to A Little Literary Love. I'm glad y'all are with me today because today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in the latter half of May. There's not a ton that I read. I only read 5 books in the end half of May, so hopefully this is not a super long video. But before we get into all of those books, please, if you haven't already, if you like this video, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button and also subscribe if you haven't already. If you're enjoying my content, I post videos every Thursday and Sunday, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I post new videos, so you can be right there watching them when they post. Yes, so as you all know, I have been very depressed. I'm starting to feel better, so I got on some medications. I'm starting to slowly feel a little bit more back to like my normal. But I was just going by like vibes and like my mood with my reading. So I only have 5 books to talk about, which honestly, then that ends up being, I read like a total of 12 books for the month of May, which is so far the slowest month so far this year, which even then, like 12 books is still amazing. And the fact that I was able to read 12 books while I was so depressed, I still call that a win. Even though I also I didn't really meet any of my reading goals for May, but it's okay. I just had to do what I had to do for my mental health. So we're going to get into the 5 books that I read. First one is going to be Mark and Don't Tell by Rory Miles. This is in the same universe as Claim and Don't Tell, which I read that one like right before this book, so that should be in my mid-month wrap-up, so I'll link that in the cards. So this is an Omegaverse. This one is our female main character is an Omega. She is the best friend of the female main character from the first book, and she is always dreamed about finding her pack and falling in love and just having this like grand like love story, but she falls very quickly for people, and she keeps falling for the wrong people. So she ends up, she's decided that she's going to like scrap that. She's kind of given up on love, until her marketing company that she works for, decides to try to do a bid for this sex toy company. And the owners of that company, they have this meeting, and she finds out that those owners are her scent matches. And then she ends up going to work for them, and it kind of turns into like a boss employee, like workplace relationship. There's age gap. But then she also finds out that they are the dads of one of her ex-boyfriends who did not treat her very well. So I gave this one 4 stars. This one was just a very like cozy. Omegaverse is just in general a very cozy type of genre, a good like romance. There's definitely some angst in here. She is a very much like down on her luck type of character. She comes from very humble, poor background. Her mother, so there's lots of trigger warnings in this one too. Her mother is somewhat abusive, which she has moved out of her house, but she still has to go back and like she tries to help. Like she has a younger brother that still lives with her mother, and she helps to like pay for things for him, but then she like doesn't have enough money to feed herself, and there's a lot of stuff going on in this one. The guys in this one also have a very estranged relationship with their son, and they want to have a relationship with him, but he's honestly like he's an asshole. So I really enjoyed, there's a lot of like healing that goes on with this one, healing from like all of the different characters. So I just really liked seeing them come together. Steam on This Is High. It was a good book. Then I read All Superheroes Need PR by Elizabeth Stevens. I ARC read this. I did receive an ARC of this from NetGalley. So I'm going to consider this like a paranormal romance. Maybe it's also like sci-fi romance. I don't know. Sometimes those books kind of cross over a little bit in certain scenarios. So this one's like a superhero romance. Our female main character, she owns a PR company, and they are trying to win a bid to rebrand this lone wolf super that has not decided to be with the villains or with the heroes, and they're trying to rebrand him to join the heroes team. So they have this kind of like disastrous little like meeting and meet cute together, but he immediately becomes obsessed with her, and he says that he will he'll join the heroes and let them rebrand him only if she agrees to fake date him and be his like Lois Lane character. So I gave this one 4 stars. I enjoyed reading this one as well. I flew through this one pretty quickly. I thought this was adorable. It was quirky. It was funny. I loved how obsessed he was with her. He doesn't give a shit about being a hero. He's only doing it because she wants him to do it. He like says stuff about like he's going to like murder these people for like looking at her, saying bad things about her, and it's so good. Then it kind of like morphs a little bit into like sci-fi a little bit, because you find out that these supers they came to Earth. They're kind of like actually like aliens. So it almost morphs a little bit into like a monster romance, which I'm here for. I enjoyed it. So this one got 4 stars. I liked it. Then I read Married Lies by Amanda Richardson. This is the second book of the Ravaged Castle series. I'm just pretty much just trying to go through like all of Amanda Richardson's backlist. I read 3 other books from Amanda Richardson. The first book of the Ravaged Castle series, I believe I read in the first half of May. So again, watch that video if you want to find out more about that one. So I will be continuing with this series and finding out more about all these different brothers. So in this one, our female main character, there's like an arranged marriage. Our male main character is the second oldest of all the brothers in this series, and he is the CEO of the family company. He is one of the only people that still has a relationship with their dad, because their dad is an asshole, but his dad got charged with, I think, like fraud and embezzling money. And so their company doesn't have the greatest reputation because of their dad, and they're losing a bunch of different business deals because of it. So they have a like marriage of convenience, arranged marriage situation with our female main character, whose dad is a philanthropist and likes to donate lots of money to different causes. So they get married to help him have like a better reputation. But she also gets a good deal out of it, because then by marrying him, she gets a lot of money out of it so that she can start her own fashion brand that she's wanting to start. So this one again was another 4-star read. I really enjoyed this one. I especially really liked our female main character. It gives a little bit of like a grumpy sunshine scenario. However, female main character, she has depression. So I liked seeing how this was depicted in this book, because she is our sunshine character, but that is more of like an outward kind of thing. And then there's if she doesn't have like a certain routine set up, she can fall back into her deep depression. She's grieving the death of her grandmother. So I enjoyed seeing how that was depicted. I also enjoyed how she was kind of like knocking down all of his walls. This gives a little bit of like Beauty and the Beast vibes to it, because our male main character he got like burned when he was younger. So he has a lot of scarring from it. So that's why he doesn't really like let people get close to him. There's also voyeurism in this one. So it was very, very sexy. It was just a very good book. So again, I plan on continuing to read the rest of the books in this series sometime. Then the last 2 books that I read in May were a couple mafia books, because I don't know, I suddenly got in the mood for some mafia stories. So I read Be With Me by Gabrielle Sands. This is her newest mafia book. This is marketed as a standalone, but I could see where this could potentially end up becoming a series. I think this might become a series. I'm hoping it becomes a series because I really enjoyed this one. So in this one, our family character, her dad is running for mayor on the whole like line that he is going to take down all of the crime families in New York. So our female main character, she runs into the youngest son of the one of the biggest crime families in New York at a party that she's not supposed to be at. And his family is wanting a different candidate to win for mayor, somebody that they have in their pocket. So they employ him to try to get closer to her and keep running into her to try to find out more information about her dad and try to get some dirt on him so that they can make him lose the election. But of course, in like good romance fashion, they're very attracted to one another, and he keeps wanting to run into her, not just because he has to do this for his family, but because he wants to be around her and he wants to be with her. And so then they decide that to give in to their attraction and have a tryst, however you say that word. So it was really good. I gave it 4 stars. I don't know if currently I think this is a standalone, but I could see where this could become a new series from her. Not really sure, but I did really enjoy it. And because I really enjoyed it, then I decided to go back and read one of Gabrielle Sand's like prior books. So I read When She Tempts, which is the second book of the Fallen series. I read the first book of this series quite a while ago. I think I read it for one of the Mafia Romance readathon things. I don't remember if that was a year ago or 2 years ago. And I remember really enjoying that one. So in this one, it features the female main character is the younger sister of the male main character from the first book. Their family has been on the run because their father was the Don, and then he died in like a different control of power within this like mafia group. So the male main character from the first book, so her older brother, thinks that he should be the rightful Don of this group. So they've been in hiding while he tries to plot and take over, like to form like a coup of power and then kill the current Don. But they're in hiding, and because she's his younger sister, she's a liability. She's his weakness because he loves her. So he decides that she needs to go into hiding. So our female main character, she goes into hiding with our male main character of the story, who is like a hacker guy within the mafia. To try to keep her safe. So he takes her to this remote like castle that he owns. And he like teaches her like some self-defense, and he just basically just they're in hiding together. So of course this becomes their romance because they've got that little bit of like forced proximity scenario. They're very attracted to one another. They're always around one another. So they start a relationship, even though it's very forbidden, because he knows that she's probably going to end up, as in fashion with the mafia, there's lots of arranged marriages that happen. She's probably going to be in an arranged marriage with another family to secure power. This one I ended up giving 3.5 stars, so I did not enjoy this one as much as some of the other Gabrielle Sands books that I've read. And part of that was just because the characters kind of annoyed me, which I went back and forth on it like 3, 4, where I was standing with this. So I just went middle ground with 3.5 stars. Because our female main character, she's 18 going on 19 in this story, and she very much reads like that. She's very naive and impulsive, and just some of her thoughts that she has, it just annoys me. But also kudos to the author for writing a very realistic 18-year-old. And then also some of the choices that the male main character writes also just annoyed me, which he does go through like some groveling and some apologizing for some of the choices that he makes. So I was like, by the end of it, I was like, all right, I don't know. So 3.5 stars. I do plan on continuing to read this series as well at some point. So that's pretty much it for the books that I read. Like I said, I read 12 books for this month. I really did not. I didn't really meet like any of my goals. I didn't really do any of my reading challenges for this month. It was just, it is what it is. And if you haven't read, or excuse me, not read, if you haven't watched my June TBR video, I'm not really trying to do any of my reading prompts and goals and stuff for June either, just because I have so many arcs that I need to read. So that's going to be my focus. And then if I have time to kind of get to some of my goals and reading challenges, I will, but I'm not going to like force myself. So anyway, that's going to be it. Make sure to leave a comment down below with some of the books that you read in May that you really enjoyed. I love hearing from you all, but that's it. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.